Hi friends, WizD here, welcome to the video. Today we'll talk about a very specific topic in gaming, but also we'll focus more on Godforge, diving into the Easter eggs that they will be releasing with the game. Can we actually start to find, or at least trying to figure out one of those Easter eggs or maybe more, even before the game is released? Let's talk about it. Probably a perfect time to release an Easter egg video. So the first thing to talk about is that are Easter eggs something new in gacha games or hero collector games? And the answer, of course, is no. So we have all sorts of Easter eggs in previous games that were released, including Raid, of course, the main game on the channel here, but also Watcher of Realms, Dragonair, King Arthur. All of these games had their own source of Easter eggs. So usually there is one type of Easter egg, unless someone corrects me in the comments below, that's usually common in gacha games, which is basically releasing a champion or a hero with a lower rarity, like Armiger is the most obvious example. Cold Brew discovered Armiger in Raid and built his whole content creation career. On top of that, he's doing some great content, so shout out to Cold Brew. But basically releasing a champion or a hero with lower rarity, uncommon, common, or rare, and then giving them a certain skill that will be unique in beating one of the bosses or a certain aspect of the game, whether it's arena or PvE or a specific dungeon or clan boss or something. So this champion will be unique in this way. And the game won't say anything about it. But players eventually discover it, and it's a big aha moment for the whole player base. When someone discovers it, spreads the word out on Reddit or creates a video about it, and then everyone else is starting using the same champion. So Easter eggs are amazing to have, and they keep the hype around the game, because once an Easter egg is discovered, all players start like just finding the same egg, knowing where to find it, and then it creates a hype about what about the next one? Can I find the next champion that will do something unique? Or something else. So in gacha games, and I'm comparing it example for open world games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Baldur's Gate 3 or something, or Assassin's Creed, those games can embed Easter eggs in several other ways. So the question now is that, will Godforge only confine itself to Easter eggs in the sense of releasing a champion, nobody will expecting that he'll be strong, and then someone will discover a specific synergy between this champion and another one or whatever, and find out the right place in game? Or will they do more? What brought this to my mind? If you watch the latest Fateless podcast, where I was discussing the game with Fateless development team, all amazing people, by the way, I really love talking to them, and that's one of the reasons I'm excited about the games. I think if such good people, I'm talking about good people in the sense of they are nice people, they are caring people, and they have the right mentality, these people will create a good game. But back to the topic here. So I was discussing the game. Let me actually bring that video up. So I was discussing the game. We'll come back to Bran in a sec. But yeah, I was discussing the game with the Fateless team. And basically, yeah, I actually had the video here. I don't know why I clicked away. Okay, here it is. Towards the end, let me bring you to this. Yeah, they even marked it here. I was just wrapping up the podcast, but I wanted to ask them one last question to catch them by surprise and maybe get us some information about this. And we'll dive deeper into that specific Easter egg, which makes me believe that Godforge will do more than just releasing champions or heroes as Easter eggs. There will be different types of Easter eggs in game. But let's listen to this specific part where I asked them about it, and then we'll link this to other things that other content creators found and to something that Simon said. Wait, so can you give us just a hint about one of them now? So players can write it down and look for it when the game is...
That's a big ask. That's a Simon video coming up soon here.
Okay, keep it in mind. Maybe for a later time.
If you're seeing...
So, Sham and Brad didn't want to say anything, but then Dirk stepped in and he gave me my leak basically. So we'll dive into it. But listen to what he's about to say.
Any high production cinematics, within those cinematics, there may be a clue that can get you. How about that? Yeah, okay. That can get you something later on. So that's the thing. I can tell you once.
Okay, so that's what he said. High production cinematic. Of course, the only such cinematic that was released is the trailer, the game trailer that they released recently. An amazing one I created a reaction video on. If you haven't seen this one, you have to go watch it multiple times. But yeah, so let me just mute my desktop because we don't want to listen it to it. Has an amazing soundtrack. So go watch it for sure, but I've downloaded it so I can break it down in more detail with you, which is exactly why I have Bran's video here. Bran is one of Godforge's content creators, and he does an amazing job breaking down the lore of what's happening. So I'll point something out from his video, and I won't make you watch, though the trailer is not that long, but I won't make you watch all of it. I'll just jump to the pieces, and I'll go back to Bran's video, where I think that Easter egg is hidden. So they told us it's in the trailer, and it will give us some clues about something that we'll find later on. So Simon was explaining that trailer. So that initial part, I don't think it has anything hidden in it unless like I'm missing something. That impact and drawing you near in, that all O factor with the trailer here, this is not like, I don't think anything is hidden here. This just draws a character, and then we'll see Gilgamesh. So that's where it starts getting into more detail, because this is exactly the shot. So we'll go back to this from Bran's video and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. But I think that specific frame is where the Easter egg is, and we'll dive deeper into it. And I'm really hoping that the other content creators will help me decipher that, because they were already 10 times ahead of me deciphering this. So Bran, I won't steal his thunder. He's doing amazingly explaining this, but let's move to this. So a couple of other content creators actually picked this up even before we talked about the Easter egg. So Itchlock Gaming and Bran, of course, and they started diving into what does it mean. So here we have Gilgamesh and that chalice or cup or whatever that he breaks. That might have something to do with the lore or what they will do in game. But the main thing here, if we talk about Easter eggs, is those 4 symbols on the wall behind him. And some people were saying, if we go back to, I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it here. Give me a sec. Okay, so look at that. This other frame got a top view of this. Is this the Godforge? Is this where we'll summon champions? I'm not sure. But the view that we have in the other frame that we'll go back to, it has only 2 columns, 2 pillars. But we can see here in the top view, we have at least 2 more. So we have 4 symbols, and we might have another 4, summing up into something special. So if we go back to Bran, like him, Itchlock, and other content creators dove into the lore and gave us, like, this is Star of Ishtar here, Eye of Horus, and then the Triskelion. I think it was linked to the Norse mythology in some way, or the Valknot. So now the question is, these 4 symbols are most probably related to 4 factions. What I thought, like my initial thought, and that's why I dismissed this so lightly when I heard about them diving deep into it, because the guys are doing an amazing job diving into the lore more. While part of why I don't want to do this right now, I don't want to analyze everything because I want to get pleasantly surprised when the game gets released. But yeah, that's my aspect of it. The main thing here is that. So we had 4 symbols, and assuming that we'll have another 4, summing to 8. So these 8 might be the 8 factions that the game will start with. And I thought that that's about it. 1 symbol per faction. But what about how the symbols are aligned? Like if we have the Star of Ishtar plus Eye of Horus. If I get these 2 factions together, will they have a specific synergy? Same for the other ones or the other 4 that we're not seeing in this frame. What if there is a sequence between the pillars? Or is this a puzzle that we'll have to solve to get a certain one-time reward in game? That maybe someone will figure it out by chance or by design, and then they will just spread the word. Easter eggs and figuring out puzzles would one of the things that are most interesting for me in game when it gets released. And it will give Godforge like an aspect or an angle that no other gacha or hero collector game thought of. So we'll enjoy in game. It's one more thing to enjoy the game. And if they have people in the team who are creative enough to put more of these, like we'll have a few of them when the game starts. But if we have even more while the game develops with season releases or anniversaries or whatever. So my call to fateless Godforge team, put as many Easter eggs there as possible. They would be fun for us to decipher. And for the content creators and the community, let's try to figure them out even before the game is released. I'm becoming more and more excited about the game as time goes by. Let's see what happens when the beta is released. Thank you for stopping by today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see you next time.